Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone in between and adjacent, welcome to the Rush Rundown, what I believe is the first and only 10-minute testing ripoff for Rush Duels. Today on the Rush Rundown, we answer the age-old question. What do you do if you're not playing the best deck? What do you do if you're sick of the best deck? What do you do if you're sick of seeing the same decks over and over again? What do you do when you just want to win that bad? What do? You play Floodgates. Please allow me to introduce to you Yamiruler.
Consider outskilling your opponent by firing turn-long floodgates before they can do anything about it.
This is the part of the video where I tell you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Before we get into the card by card, I'd like to mention this deck was recommended to me by you, the commenters. If there's a deck you would like to see featured on the series, leave a comment down below with said deck, and I will almost definitely get to it. I've got about 2 more in the tank that were also recommended by commenters, so your deck might be a little delayed if you comment on this video. Now, Yamiruler is an interesting deck. It is, like I said at the top, a floodgate strategy where you're trying to prevent your opponent from tribute summoning level 7 or higher monsters, and with the advent of special summoning, that was pretty bad. However, after a brand new wave of support, the deck can do more floodgates. But before we talk about our floodgates, we must talk about our brand new skill. Our skill is Celestial Guidance. This skill can be used if all the monsters in your constructed deck are light, dark, earth, and or wind attribute warrior or fairy type monsters. You can choose one of these effects. Make up to 2 face-up monsters in your field with 0 attack, gain attack equal to the respective monster's defense plus 100 to the end of your opponent's next turn. Then you can set 1 fusion from your deck or a graveyard to your spell and trap zone. Or make the original defense of 1 face-up monster in your opponent's field become 800 at the end of this turn. That second effect doesn't really come out very much, to be honest. Now, you might notice that this skill sets fusion from your deck or graveyard to the field. So, let's start our card by card by our fusions. Our first fusion monster is the unfortunately limited 3 Yamiruler, the Divine Ruler. I'll say it here, this card being limited 3 really screws with the deck. I would like to be more focused on Yamiruler specifically, but because Yamiruler himself and his fusion monster conflict with each other with the limit, it kind of screws with things. Anyway, material. Yamiruler, the Dark Lair, and Neil Kirei, the Celestial Seamstress. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard until the end of your opponent's next turn. While this card is face up, it gains 500 attack, and neither player can special summon level 9 or lower monsters in face up attack position. Or you can change the battle position of one monster. Second effect, I would never in my life activate that second effect. Now the first effect, however, is crazy. This is our complete game-ending floodgate. Because you might notice, unlike our Yamiruler, Yamiruler can activate his effect on every single turn as long as you have cards in deck. Basically meaning he is basically a permanent floodgate for the entire game if the opponent cannot out him. That is insane. As well, he's a 3k monster, and activating his floodgate attack makes him a 3500 beast, basically being able to swing over any monster in the game. You can see why they put such limits onto this deck, because this guy would be an absolute house if he could just be played for free. Our other fusions, we are on 1 Hero of the Kin. We are playing Hero of the Yeast and Masaki Legendary Samurai as like our 1500 normal guys. So we are playing their fusions. So Hero of the Kin here needs 2 Heroes of the Yeast to be fusion summoned, and then he adds a level 4 level warrior type normal monster from your graveyard to your hand. Basically, you get a 2600 monster and an extra material guy on board or something like that. We are on 2 Yamiruler, the Divine Luna. Material, Yamiruler, the Dark Shifter, Needle Kiri, the Celestial Seamstress. Requirement, none. Add 1 monster with 0 attack from your graveyard to your hand, or destroy the 2 defense position monster in your field. This effect will make a little more sense later, but let's just say when you can't get Yamiruler, your main play is getting Yamiruler out onto the board. And like I said, we're playing the Crescent Moon Swordsmaster, which is the fusion of Masaki Legendary Swordsman and Hero of the East. Send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This turn, this card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's trap card effects. Pretty simple. It's an effect that doesn't really do much unless you can read your opponent's on Widespread Rune. Now, I mentioned our Yamiruler. You might not be familiar with her first material, the Yamiruler. So let's start our card by card in the main deck with Yamiruler, Dark Shifter. We are playing 3 of these. She's a 0 attack, 2500 defense monster. You might remember, our skill lets us switch her attack from 0 to 25 and add an extra 100 onto there, so she's basically a 2600 attacker. Requirement: none. Change the battle position to the 2 monsters in your opponent's field. If you change the battle position by this effect, you can change the battle position of 1 face-up monster on your field. So the second part of the effect is to combo with the regular Yamiruler, to basically, after you use his anti-tributing floodgate effect, she then switches him back so he can go attack. However, the more important part is the first part of her skill, where you can change the battle position of 2 monsters in your opponent's field, switching to the defense, then fusing Yamiruler off for Yamiruler, and then popping those 2 monsters, which is a very, very, very strong effect. That's the reason why we're maxing out on 3. If we could play 3 Yamiruler, we'd probably cut Yamiruler down to 2 and play the 3rd Yamiruler. Just because the floodgate effect of Yamiruler is our big game ender, but Yamiruler into Yamiruler is a big swing that could do a lot for us. We are on 2 Yamiruler. We are forced to play 2 Yamiruler because he's limited 3. Yikes. We are on 2 All-Seeing Harvey. You'll notice she is a Warrior Earth monster, basically being a good generic card we can play for free. She can, just check back row because we're only playing 2 MSTs. So All-Seeing Harvey basically being able to check the back row so we know what we need to hit is nice. We are on 3 Rising Light Angel Essel, my personal favorite card in the game. It's pretty nice to be able to get one of our 2 tribute monsters out for free if we can manage that. Or, just stealing a card from the opponent if they also milled themselves at all. We are on 3 Piercing Samurai. Now our normals. We are on 3 Neokiri the Celestial Seamstress. You may remember she is the material for both Yamiruler and Yamiruler. So basically we need to just max out on her and make sure we always have access. And then like I said before, 3 Misaki, 3 here these. 1500 guys, they're warriors, and we can fuse them if we have nothing else. Now, our spell traps. We are on 1 Pot of Avarice. You'll notice we are not playing Warrior Returning Alive because the most important monster to get out of the graveyard is a fairy. So we are not playing Warrior Returning Alive, we are playing Pot of Avarice to instead put these guys back in deck and hopefully draw them back. We are on 1 Star Restart. Like I said, 2 Avian Spell Attackers. This is our MST of the deck. We're only on 2 just because the deck is kind of tight on space. We are on 1 Talismanic Seal Array. We need to be putting guys back into the deck, which is why we are playing both Seal Array and Pot of Avarice. We are on 1 Fusion because we just get this card out of the grave for free. So we can basically recycle Fusion as many times as possible over the course of the game, with the only restriction being we need to find one of our 0 attack monsters, which is key to our strategy. So if our strategy is functioning, we have access to Fusion. We are on Negate Attack because if you can play Negate Attack, you play Negate Attack. And then our 1 Buffered Slime. Anyway, let's go ahead and see the deck in action. Alright, here we are, game number 1, and our opponent is on Dragia Star F. You can see we didn't open great, only 1 monster and then a tribute, but at least we can set our 3 back row, including a Negate Attack. So as long as we don't see any kind of spell trap destruction out of the opponent, we should be chilling. They're going to have to lead Scorched Dragon Slugger, summon Sylphidra, and oh god, they just have Dragios. They're going to bring down the Dragios, but thankfully they just go activate the skill Dragia Star Nova, and then they walk right into the Negate Attack. Oh man, are we grateful not to have seen any back row destruction. We do not want to lose our Avarice or Negate Attack. Anyway, we draw for turn. It's looking like a Balatro hand over here, but here we go. We're going to normal summon a Piercing Samurai, tribute summon the Yamiruler effect, switch the guy to defense, Star Restart, summon back these Neokiri, and here we go, fusion into Yamiruler. Now that we switch the Dragios into defense position, we can use the Yamiruler effect to then just go pop it, set our last card, and swing in for 2500. Thankfully, we didn't see any response of the opponent on that attack, so we know the back row here is not anything battle related. They go ahead and normal Fortitude Dragon, which is an issue. Now they can just put our attack down, summon the dragon. Thankfully, they built it. Dragon's Inferno. Tribute summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon, normal, Sylphidra, and just go right into attack. We are pretty tough out here. We'd have to bring down another Yamiruler or maybe get the Yamiruler on the field to even out this Blue Eyes without highest attack position is. We go ahead, we drew all monsters. That's alright, I think. Go ahead, star restart, summon back new Pire. Fusion. Refuse for the Crescent Mood Swordsmaster. Uses effect. Mill, can't be destroyed by card effect. Hopefully playing around a widespread or something. But that does let us use the Pot of Avarice. So we're going to put everything back, draw cards, and oh my, we drew Yamiruler once again. Now we're just going ahead and normal summon that Yamiruler, use the effect, put these two guys in defense position, normal summon the Celestial Seamstress, use our skill, boost our attack, set the fusion, flip the fusion, let's go ahead and fuse right away to Yamiruler, and then pop those two monsters. And now it's just normal summon one more guy, and the opponent says, okay, this is lethal, I'm out of here. Alright, here we are, game number 2, and our opponent is playing Cybers. Hey, maybe they watched my video on budget decks. Anyway, they're going first, and they just go ahead and set a whole bunch of monsters. Oh man, am I jealous being able to set the entire hand, actually, while we're looking at a grip of all monsters. We could draw for turn, and it's another monster. Thankfully, though, it's Essel. Let's go ahead and Essel, and she always hits, correct? No, we lost Star Restart and our buffered slime. Oh well, let's just go ahead and normal a bunch of guys, and we have to get aggressive. We go ahead and mill again off the Piercing Samurai, and then we hit a Yamiruler. We would have loved to hit that off of the Essel and get her out for free. Anyway, just go ahead and swing in, and oh boy, is this looking bad for us. Normal summon Connector Dog, normal summon another Connector Dog. Then there's Femtron, Max Ragnarok, turning that into a Tribute 2. I don't really know why they didn't target any of our monsters to also lower our attack, but okay. So they go ahead and just summon Soul, not even going to try to repronounce that name, and they clear our board. Again, this is looking really rough for us, as our only cards are Piercing Samurai and All-Seeing Harvey, which aren't exactly engine. But thankfully we drew a Yamiruler for turn, so at the very least, we can establish her as a 2600 attacker. Go ahead and use our effect, flip these two guys so we can swing over with whoever we want. Piercing Samurai, uses effect, turn her into a 2600 with piercing. Go ahead and pierce over this 0 defense soul, and let's clear out most of the board. Unfortunately, the last Connector Dog is a 1500 attack point monster, meaning they can, for some reason, they choose to pop our fusion with their MST, even though it's very, very, very known. Go ahead and Talismanic Sealer to get over our Yamiruler by putting... Or, I'm sorry, they put down All-Seeing Harvey and will Tribute to the Doomed. The unknown card, Tribute to the Doomed, are Yamiruler. And we're losing our board once again. However, the opponent is sitting with a 1500 and 900 attack point monster on field. And we opened an insane hand. Let's go ahead and Tribute summon Yamiruler. Now, you might remember, Cybers, outside the Max monster, wants to Tribute summon their big guys. And now they are completely unable to do so. As well, our guys in defense, so they cannot lower our attack. So they just go ahead and set one monster, probably having a grip full of 2 Tribute monsters that they cannot summon at all. We drew Pot of Avarice, so we're just going to go ahead and put back some of our materials, hopefully drawing something. Our hand is pretty decent, but we only have access to 1 fusion at the moment. We're going to go ahead and summon the Yamiruler effect, flip their unknown guy, move our Yamiruler to attack just because we can, and now we're Celestial Guidance, target 2, hit fusion, fusion summon. We're not going to go for the Yamiruler because that just wouldn't be as close to game. So we summon the Yamiruler, go ahead and pop their 2 guys that are still in the position, set a card, and go battle. 1000 in, and 2500 is not game, because they do have the buffered slime. So they get to live 1 more turn, but we are pretty big chilling with our 2500 monsters, as well as our pretty strong acro, mostly being negate attack. They go ahead and now tribute summon the Atrashoot Hydron. They are able to tribute summon now, putting them up to 3700, tributing once again for another Atrashoot Hydron. They are going for such a big swing. It is, oh my god, Talismanic Sealer, the last unknown. They could put down our Yamiruler to 0, which they do, go over the big swing. However, we have negate attack. Maybe you should have kept that particle acceleration instead of using it on the known fusion. I'm not going to judge them, but I'm pretty sure that would have been a better play. Now it's pretty much just like needing to draw a hand and finishing them off. We do have the Talismanic Sealer, put back a bunch of our guys, put down their Adder Shoot Hydron to 900, and we just swing in for game. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see the Yamiruler once again. However, why don't we jump over to game number 3, and maybe that will change. Here we are, game number 3, and you know what that means, a 1v1 versus Cyber Dragon. We're going second, and we have a pretty damn good hand. Opening a Rising Light Angel Essel, a Hero of the East, and both of our Spell Trap Destroyers is pretty good. Go ahead and see what our opponent does first. They go ahead and set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4, set 5, must be nice. Anyway, go ahead and draw for turn. We find Needle Kiri, the Celestial Seamstress, which is pretty nice for us. Go ahead and use Essel, which finds the Piercing Samurai. Normal Hero of the East, and we're just going to go ahead and MST both of their back row. We hit a Barrage of Steel and a Cyber Entry. If it wasn't obvious our opponent was on Cyber Dragon, it's pretty obvious now. Go ahead and swing in, clear the board, hit them for 1,000, and we are pretty weak to just getting Cyber Twinned out of this game. They go ahead and draw for turn. They have one unknown back row. We don't really know what that is. They tribute Cyber Assault over Proto Cyber Dragon. Then normal summon Flag Beast, Bulge Cord, and set 2 more cards. And we say, oh, okay. We are in a very good position because they just did not find the OG Cyber Dragon. They also can only kill 2 guys in our field, leaving us with an extra tribute material. Go ahead and normal summon Essel, tribute them both for Yamiruler. Here he is. Yamiruler Celestial Guidance. Boosting them. Sending Fusion. Yamiruler effect. He goes to the defense. Fusion. Summoning out the Yamiruler. Now they cannot tribute summon level 7 or higher monsters, which means they cannot use Ancient Gear Golem if they find them. And now Yamiruler effect, meaning they cannot fusion summon their guys. Go ahead and put their Cyber Assault down with Talismanic Sealer, swing in with the 1500 Needle Kiri, and pass it to the opponent. Fortunately, the back row doesn't seem to be anything, and they just pass turn immediately. What that tells me is they opened a grip of most likely Ancient Gear Golem and some Cyber Dragons and said, oh, I cannot play the game. Screw this. I'm out of here. So we're back with the deck. And hey, those games went pretty damn good. However, there are some pros and cons to this. First, the pros. Yamiruler is an insanely powerful flood. Getting this guy on board is essentially game over for any deck that's not playing Widespread Ruin or Tribute to the Doom. As well, being able to loop the Kime Luna and Yamiruler for 2 monster destructions very, very frequently is another crazy power play. There's also so many decent cards that are still allows us to play, like Essel. We can play Spell Tactics, which is crazy for loop monsters. Now, that's where the pros at. The con. We are playing a lot of 2 tribute monsters. Right here, it's only 5, but there are other versions that play even more. You frequently, in my testing, I frequently ended up with hands that were legitimately unplayable with how many 2 tributes I would open. As well, there are some games where I just never saw Needle Kiri. And those were games I lost on the spot. Because despite the rest of our guys being pretty decent, we are also playing cards like Essel and Piercing Samurai, which don't do anything if you only find them as well. Now, the biggest con of them all, Yamiruler and Yamiruler are limited 3. On the upcoming ban list in effect January 9th, Star Restart goes to limit 3. Now, you might have seen in the games I showed off, there was a game where I was playing 2 Star Restart. You saw me use it twice. That was because at first I wanted to build this deck completely ignorant of the ban list that was upcoming. And it kind of worked out, but at the same time I said, well, I wasn't seeing Yamiruler enough to make Yamiruler. So I went ahead and said, okay, let's cut Star Restart altogether. Then I was finding myself not being able to get Needle Kyrie out anymore. So I said, okay, let's just make a version of the deck for this ban list. I have to be honest, the January 9th ban list pretty much kills the viability of this deck. Now, with that said, there is another deck out there that is just Kime Luna. It's not even Yamiruler at all. But at that point, we don't even get to play around with Yamitarasu, so the deck hits a massive snag in its power. With that said, I would say, if for some weird reason you want to play this deck with the less than a week between when this video comes out and the ban list hits, go ahead. It is actually kind of fun. If you like blood getting your opponent, it's kind of fun. I personally will probably not be picking this deck up again. Maybe the Kime Luna version, where it's just Kime Luna, maybe I'll pick that up at some later point. But as it stands, I would say you should probably not build this. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching this video, and remind you once again, if there's a deck you would like to see featured on this video, go ahead and leave that in the comments below. As well, if you think there's anything else I could change or maybe add to the deck, leave that in the comments below. Once more, thank you for watching. Goodbye.